Guilty Gear Strive has easily become one of my favorite fighting games ever since it came out last year. However, I was interested in doing a little social experiment. You see, one thing I like about the game is that you can use respect taunts in game. You know, it's like taunting, but you're being nice instead of being a dick. I like using respect taunts just because I think it makes fights a little more interesting. Add some, I don't know, flavor into it. Then again, I am a big fan of roleplay and RPGs and stuff like that. Hell, I don't even like skipping intros the first time I fight someone online. It just makes the fight more hype in my opinion. People tend not to taunt much in general, but I've always been kind of curious why that is. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of players who don't want to BM their opponents with a taunt because they don't want to come off as rude, or at least not leave themselves open to get hit by doing so. Even still, I think respect taunts are even rarer to see compared to normal ones. Even back when I played Xrd, which I admittedly didn't play too much, I would respect taunt people all the time, and people would mostly do it back. Or at least they'd stop trying to shove me face first into the nearest dumpster for a bit. In Strive, ever since the game came out last year, I have never had anyone respect taunt back. Seriously. Not once. Because of this, I decided to see just what the Guilty Gear community thought about respect taunts and if they did it themselves. So, I went to the Guilty Gear subreddit to get the opinion of other players. There, I set up a poll and named it, "Do you use respect taunts in matches?" and let the poll run for 24 hours while also encouraging anyone who answered the poll to go into more detail in the comments. The choices for the poll was, as much as I can, most of the time, sometimes, rarely, never, and wait, you can do that? To my surprise, the poll got 648 votes within 24 hours, which is honestly about 6 times more than I thought I would have gotten, so that's great. If you voted in that, thanks for sharing your opinion. Let me share the results. Okay, so here we are on the Guilty Gear subreddit. This is where I put up the poll, as I've mentioned. So I'm pretty much just going to go through all of the results, just to see who voted for what, which one won, and what people's general opinions are. So the reason I'm positioned here right now is because I'm actually blocking the results. So hold on, let me scoot out of the way for you. There we go. All right, so here, as you can see, it's pretty close to what I thought it would be. As I've mentioned, 648 people voted. As much as I can, only got 64 votes, which is the second lowest option that was chosen. Most of the time was 38, the lowest option. Sometimes was 77, and also I voted for that as well. I didn't really know if I should vote in my own poll, but Reddit wouldn't allow me to see the actual results unless I voted, which is weird because I made the poll. I mean, maybe I just made a mistake somewhere because I don't use Reddit super often. But anyway, not like it mattered much. It's only 77. Rarely was 88. Never had the most votes with 208. So there are 208 people out of 648 who just never respect taunt ever. And the second highest, this is the one that surprised me the most, was wait, you can do that, with 173 votes. So it's pretty close. It's like 30 something votes off between the number 1 and number 2 in the poll, and that's crazy. So it's like, it's almost, if you think about it, for the people who never do it, slightly more than half of the people who never do it just don't do it because they don't want to. A little less than half of the people who don't do it don't know that you actually can, which is kind of crazy. But then again, I guess the game doesn't really, I don't know if there's a tutorial for taunting in the game. And not only that, but I think, unless I'm mistaken, like taunts aren't bound to your control scheme in the game by default. Like you have to manually bind it to a button, which may, influence these results a little bit. I don't know. All I remember is that when I first got the game, I went into my controls and I manually bound it. So unless I'm misremembering, that's what happened. But yeah, that's pretty much the poll. Like I expected never to win, but I didn't expect wait, you can do that to be so high in the polls in second place. So what we're gonna do is that there were people who shared their opinions and their thoughts in more detail down below. So we're just gonna scroll through real quick, and we're just gonna see the general consensus, on how people feel about this. So let's see. The first one here. This is a very common sentiment, I think. It's like, I think taunting and strive is signaling they want me to beat their ass, in which case I respect it. I see taunts as a free opening. Yeah, this is something that I mentioned earlier, where pretty much it's like one of the reasons I think people don't like taunting is because it leaves you open for a bit, and no one wants to get hit or give their opponent an opening in a fighting game. So that does make sense. I can't really blame anyone for that. And we have someone here who says they don't even have taunt mapped to any of my buttons, honestly. Once again, also not a surprise, because I think taunt has to be manually mapped to a button. So yeah. Now here's an interesting thing. I actually posted a comment here because I noticed that wait, you can do that was getting so many votes that it was in second place so far. So I was like, okay, maybe I should inform people a little bit just in case, because I didn't know if people were just memeing or if people legitimately didn't know that you can respect taunt in the game. So I came down here and essentially explained the difference between a respect taunt and a taunt and how to do it, where taunts work just by hitting your taunt button, while respect taunts work by hitting the taunt button plus forward. You have to hit them both at the same time. And then someone even said thanks for the explanation. So I think this person legitimately didn't know that's how it worked. And this person down here, they say that they knew the direction mattered for the taunt selection, but they didn't know that one was respect taunting. So it's like they just didn't know that that's what that was supposed to be. Like, that's one thing that I also think is a thing. It's like online, I think I've tried to throw a respect taunt at a few opponents, and then they turn the aggression up. Like if you taunt an opponent, that's a good way to piss someone off, and then they come after you even harder. I think I've respect taunted a couple of people, and they confused it for a normal taunt, and then they got super fucking pissed and then just rushed me. I was like, whoa, calm down, man. I was just telling you that I think you're cool. So I think that's what happened, because they just don't know the difference, especially if they're playing their game with the Japanese audio instead of the English, because they don't really know what the characters are saying. Because like in English they might understand and say, oh wait, they're respecting me, but in Japanese, if they don't speak Japanese, then yeah. So then we have one person here, which I do believe some people do this too, said I use them unrespectfully too when I'm done with my opponent. Not gonna lie, both Axel's and Zato's emotes are pretty cool, could be used in both situations. Which that is true, because yeah, it is possible to use respect taunts in a cheeky way. I think that kind of just rubs it in a little bit. It's pretty easy to do that, honestly. And then we have this person here, who they got a lot of votes. A lot of people agreed with them. So I personally think taunting is kind of BM in fighting games. True, unless both of y'all are trolling around, then it's cool. One that I would respect online is the Jacko taunt, where if you hold it long enough, she puts her mask away for the rest of the match. That one can stay for reasons. I agree. I prefer Jacko without the mask compared to with it, just personal opinion. Then there's someone down here who said that they just got a no mask mod, which is kind of genius. Why didn't I think of finding a mod? I haven't modded my Guilty Gear at all, because I play on PC, but I haven't modded my game at all. But if I do mod the game one day, maybe eventually, maybe, that's probably going to be the first mod I put on, because yeah, I know it's possible to like take the mask off manually, especially like at the end of a round, but if the opponent skips the round too quick, then you're kind of out of luck. So yeah, there's this person down here that's kind of just echoing what I said earlier. It feels like it's bad manners and look like you're trying to mock someone, which I pretty much agreed and replied there. This person mentioned something really interesting, where they say they wish they went the third strike route, where the taunts actually had like a small they helped you out in a little way, even if it's just something tiny. Because like getting 2 to 3 taunts is Q in third strike. I forgot specifically what it did, to be honest, but I understood what they meant, because I like playing as like Dudley or Sean sometimes, and it's like I liked finishing my opponent by hitting them in the face with a basketball or a rose, because it's just kind of funny, honestly. Then that turns into a bit more of a conversation. This person says, can't afford to taunt. I'm fighting for my life. Makes sense. Like I said, a lot of people don't want to leave themselves wide open in the middle of a match, so can't blame them. This one resonated with me really well. It really bugs me when they don't do it back and just start wailing on you. Like, bro, have some camaraderie. I'm doing a respect. Totally agree here. I would personally like it if I respect taunt someone if they don't immediately rush me down, but it's a fighting game. We didn't show up to shake hands and be friends. We showed up to try and destroy each other. And then maybe you can say GG after, but I really agree with them there. Yep, and then we have some more. I'm not going to read all of these out because it's unnecessary, but yeah, let's see. So I try to respect taunt most games, but I botch it sometimes to do the wrong one. It's totally possible. This person only does it at the start of a mirror match. This person doesn't even have it bound, similar to what I read earlier. This one was interesting. It said they've honestly thrown matches respecting people because they just kicked his ass so well. And he said, that being said, I also have a BM where I do a wall break super combo, then Roman cancel into taunt respect. It's a fun way to throw away meter when I'm closing out a round. I've never tried that. Maybe I'll try that one day. Maybe. Yeah, you can Roman cancel both taunts and respect, so that's fun. I honestly didn't know you can do that, so that's interesting. Respect and taunt seem mutually exclusive to me. We won't do it. Fair. Didn't know you could. Always thought the input was essentially teabagging, which is funny. Let's see. Use them after long sets. Use it exclusively in soul mirror matches or dittos where we clash 6P Bandit Revolver. That's a very specific time to do it, but at least they do it sometimes, so that's cool. Game won't let you bind a button for it. That's interesting. This person I respectfully disagreed with, who said they don't care, don't even have them bound to a key. Respect/taunt is all the same shit. Waste of inputs and coding/animation time. Respectfully disagree. So that's pretty much all of the comments here. Like, I literally went through all of them. There was only 35, but yeah, that seems to be what the community just thinks about in general about respect taunts, or at least, you know, the people who participated in the voting here and the people who were kind enough to leave some comments and, you know, elaborate a little more about their opinion. Okay, so that is part 1 of the video. Let's move on to the next part, the live test. Well, live, it's